Just to let everyone know, there will be slight story spoilers, but it's mostly for a side mission, but it does pertain to main characters. Watch with care, I guess. Yeah, that should be about it. Thank you. Alright, back to the review. Is Khazan Soul Slop? Short answer, yes. Yes, it is. Thank you for coming out. See you all next time. Long answer, it's complicated. Has a lot of the hallmarks. You can dodge, you can block, no jumping. No, don't look in Elden Ring's direction, eyes forward. Flavor text on almost everything. Defense that has such diminishing returns it becomes worthless. Then, in many ways, it is very different. Whole lot of defensive options. Your standard guards and dodges, but also something called Brink Dodge and Brink Guard, which is a guard or dodge right as you're hit that takes near no stamina. You have Reflex, Read, Parry, Counterattacks, that's a specialty ability, as well as abilities that can absorb, block, or dodge automatically when hit. It's hub-based, though I know 3 in Demons was very heavily hub-based. Biggest change in this game is that when selecting a stage you've already completed, you can teleport to whichever camp, land, pointy, fire, turn, sword you've previously touched. It's great for traversal to specific parts of the map and refighting bosses. A cornucopia of gear sets. A skill tree with active abilities. But Khazan is a very ambiguous beast. While the game starts off a bit easy, the difficulty ramps up pretty fast. But then it'll fall, then right back up. Then you'll be stuck on a side mission because the hill became a cliff face. Yet there are many ways to actually empower yourself, aside from Lacrima, your experience. There are soul stones that can be gathered to either increase Lacrima accrual or give yourself a healing boost. Every stage you beat that you collect all the knickknacks in will give you points that you can spend on increasing either stamina damage, regular damage, or increasing a damage multiplier. It's all percentage based. But to tell you the truth, I'm dog water at building and theory crafting, so I'm uncertain how to build damage versus multiplier. I assume just build up both at once and hope they play well with each other. You can get more and more gear. Every enemy, from what I can tell, has a chance to drop equipment. Still using weapons and armor 5, 10, or even 15 levels below what the level is dropping. Just refresh the enemies and grind for some drops, and try to get some new duds. Every use of a weapon will give you some mastery, giving you skill points to gain and or level up already known abilities for use on weapon skills or in your common skill tree. The skill tree does have a permission cap, and it took me most of the game to finally notice it. Once you get far enough, you have access to both a smith and a gear augmenter. Because of how the game works, you can dip out at your closest sword, sell, dismantle, make new, augment, whatever, then jump right back to where you were. You are never stuck on a mission. But here comes that big old but. But you do have to get good. You cannot mash your way through unless you've gotten so strong that your damage outdoes the boss's damage. You will eat shit, and you will continue to eat shit until morale improves. Getting good is not just brink guarding everything perfectly, or dodging, or hitting every counterattack, though that helps. It's just about using every tool at your disposal, which may or may not include using summons, but I'm part of team you didn't beat the game, so that's not really an option that I utilize or respect. And unfortunately for me, I've come to enjoy the beatings. Love them. Rely on them. Hell, I can't go to bed without dying to a boss at least 30 times yelling, "That's fucking bullshit! I dodged that!" Or, "You have a sliver of life left. Fuck you! Just give it to me!" Then I would sleep like a baby. A giant pissed off baby, but a baby nonetheless. But if I can do it, most will be able to. Sometimes you just have to scale that cliff face one handhold at a time. Moving on to the mechanics. If you have played Neo and or Sekiro, you'll have a very good understanding on how things work. By timing your guards just right, you can avoid damage, unless it's elemental, because the elemental damage still pierces. And you'll still have effects build up, that sucks. So dodging continues to have a use. And using your abilities to stagger enemies and to avoid damage. Gear sets for me have always been a massive pain in the behind. But for Khazan, it's simply getting what parts you need from dismantling. And they're pretty generous with drop rates. And you can have that fancy new set you were looking for at current level, instead of holding on to it for 40 levels like I did. Bard set, I'm looking at you. One of the biggest changes for me is actually having stamina recovery speed. I've always seen items for a temporary boost, or weight limit thresholds affecting it, but here you get the actual stat that, like Mini, feels absolutely worthless 99% of the time. Especially because of the delay, that when seconds matter, it feels like eons. But then it pulls another Sekiro, or Strangers of Paradise if you played that, on you. No matter how low your stamina, as long as you can brink guard and attack, you're safe. And depending on what skills you picked in your skill tree, you'll slowly regen even while under assault. It's great. You have an install ability that you get eventually. It's... gosh, probably closer to 5 to 6. 5 to 6 stages in. You kind of get it a little later than you should, I think. If you don't know the terminology, think of it as a powered up state that lasts for a limited time. I can't say much about the install ability. I find it somewhat useless, but I've also put a majority of my skill points in my weapons and other part of the common skill tree, so I'm not really qualified to talk on it. It looks like it has some really cool stuff in there, but the cost to my build isn't worth it for me, so I'll have to leave it to others more knowledgeable. You know those attacks that some enemies have? They're the unblockables that hit you every time when you aren't paying attention. Well, this game has them too. Luckily, it comes with an icon that pops, and they actually give you an ability to stop them. It's called counterattack. Its only real use is to stop abilities like that, but enough enemies have them that it's not just a for the bosses ability. Our other offensive-defensive skill is Reflect. My love-hate with this is bordering on domestic violence. When we are getting along, everything is great. When we're not, Reflect is beating me. But with the enemy's attacks, no lie. I get so gaslit I thought I could parry a giant-ass dragon. Spoilers, I didn't. Could I? Maybe. But I learned I wasn't good enough after I missed for the 50th time. Jokes aside, Reflect is the perfect addition to this game. With how aggressive you can be with proper usage, you can get back-to-back stuns in a short period of time. When the Reflect hits, you are on cloud 9, but when it misses, you're down but not out. It is very much a high-risk, high-reward whenever you first get it, but the more skill points you put into it, it turns more into a medium to low-risk to high-reward. So, if you get good at Reflect, you'll become a god at this game. Now on to the sound. When you think about sound design, you know it's good when you either think how much it plucks at your soul, or how little you think about it until you hear a ding. While it is lacking in some stages that are wide open, it's never absent in its entirety. One level has you being pelted with sounds from harps and phonographs. What a weird world this is turning out to be. I've genuinely gotten scared because of a rise in the music when I stepped inside a building, when I had half health and no healing. I thought I was about to be attacked, but it was just the stage sound motif switching. But when enemies go to grab you, there's a very audible signal that lets you know, well, this is it for you. When you've been fighting a boss for an entire run, and then it pulls out a grab move, you hear a gong, and if you're focused, it sounds as loud as one. For the level design, here's where the review gets more into the negative. Plus side, I think the world looks beautiful. I was worried since the first few levels are all snow-based, but then you eventually climb down the mountain and come back to civilization. The game does a tremendous job of going through very different locales, all different enough to where if you went through the entire game without doing any side missions, you'd only see new maps. This is where I'm a little indifferent. There are only so many maps in the game, and a lot of maps pull double, triple, and sometimes quadruple duty for side content. If you're a completionist, I do hope you enjoy seeing the same map time after time after time. Negatives. This is going to sound contradictory, but Khazan is a pretty short game. About as long as DMC5. And yet it feels like it overstays its welcome. Sometimes the stages just go on and on. But then others you hit 2 to 3 save points and you're at the boss door. It could also be that I have spent so much time dying to bosses that it just feels like I'm putting in overtime. Maybe I should put this in the indifferent category, but I'll put it in the negative because I'm petty. Why are there so many goddamned archers around multiple melee units? If I don't take care of them first, I have to train the mobs to a corner and hope to God that the archer doesn't decide to walk up to the corner and give me a surprise boot to the face. It's happened several times. Surprised I'm still surprised at this point. And the big enemies that will smack your shit without a second hesitation are more than happy to take pot shots at you from mid to long range. Madly infuriating. Overall, no. Here's where I judge Khazan, the first Berserker. Did I have fun? Yes. Were there lulls in the fun? Absolutely. But, for what it is worth, this is an admirable first try for the devs. Even if this is supposedly the scrapped rework of DFO2, I can say I had fun. I think there was a lot of great work put in, but there are still creaks and rough spots littered all over. It wasn't a flawless execution. I'd say it wasn't even a great one. But I thought it was good, and I did have fun when not being held down by its weak points. I will hope against hope that we get another game like this from Neopol. I'll make a long shot wish, and wish that it involves my favorite character, Ghostblade. Please, please, please. Give something for the Ghostblade mains out there. Come on. An admirable and respectable start to a fresh genre for one of my nostalgia devs. 6 out of 10 will only play again for DLC. So, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed. And if not, I'm sure I'll see that down below. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I hope I'll see you again next time. Oh, right. To answer the question I originally had above, well, I'll put a timestamp in the box below to the answer. Alright, for real this time. Good night.